Hey there, folks, it's Javier, otherwise known as Javier Blog 208. Welcome to my new YouTube channel. This channel is going to be known as my politics channel, and it's going to be strictly for politics only. In the past, you may have known me for obviously my previous channel, which is still my current channel, but I'm going to be splitting the two off because in my current channel, Javier Blog 208, I talk about politics, religion, travel, all kinds of things, talks, interviews, whatever. In this channel, I'm going to be sticking strictly to religion and politics, the two most controversial subjects, and primarily politics, but I'm going to talk about a lot about religion and my faith in God in the midst of it, and how it relates to the current political climate going on. For starters, I was a very hardcore Republican in the past. I was. I know that many people who I associate with now think I'm very, very, very liberal, and I am in a lot of ways. But in the past, you may have known me for, if you've known me deep, deep in the past, let's just go back a few years just for starters. I was strongly, strongly opposed to vaccine passports, strongly opposed to vaccine mandates, strongly opposed to mask mandates. I waged a war on all of that. I am morally, at a moral standpoint, strongly opposed to abortion. I believe that abortion is always the wrong decision, and I still believe that vaccine passports and mandates are wrong, and forced masking, etc., etc. I believe it's all wrong. If you go back way in the past, you'll have known me for being a very, very socially conservative Tea Party or radical, and even more so, radical Christian fundamentalist. I was radically opposed to gay marriage, so much so that I constantly posted about it on Facebook and Twitter, and I marched for marriage many, many times. And I even stood out in front of the Supreme Court with a lady who I will not name, holding a sign basically condemning gay marriage. And I did it prior to the Supreme Court ruling, and the days and weeks prior to the Supreme Court ruling, on an almost daily basis. She did it on a daily basis. Now, looking back in the past in hindsight on that particular, I do not regret. However, I would never do it again because my views have changed on that, just to be very, very point blank. Now, on that particular issue, though my views have changed, on many, many other issues, my views have not changed. I am still strongly morally opposed to abortion. I am still strongly morally opposed to mandates, mask mandates, vaccine passports, etc., etc. And I still strongly draw the line on when I see tyranny, I will draw the line and it will change my vote. That is why I voted for Ron DeSantis for governor. I moved to Florida from Massachusetts during the craziness of COVID because of the vaccine passports, the vaccine which to this day, I have great respect for the people who have got it, and I acknowledge I may have been wrong on the vaccine in particular, but I have personally never got it. And great love and respect to the people who have chosen to get it, but it is wrong, and I have said it for a long time, it is wrong to force people to get it, or to threaten people to get it, or to mandate people with threats of losing their jobs to get it, or losing the right to travel, or losing, the right to just participate in daily activities in life, including going to restaurants, etc., etc. So I've always been strongly opposed to mandates. Still hasn't changed today. I made the personal choice not to get it, and I have great respect for many people who have made the personal choice to get it. So, being said, going back into my history a little bit, I was radically, radically opposed to all that, to the point where when I was living in Massachusetts, I moved to Florida because I was sick of it all, and I thought it was morally wrong to be forcing people to do that. And I moved to Florida, and on that 2022 election day, voted Republican straight down the ballot, all the way for Ron DeSantis and everything down. And that's where I am. And skip to modern day, I am a left-leaning independent. My politics on the majority of issues do lean left today, particularly economic and immigration issues. We will get to that. I will talk about those in later discussions. Economic, immigration, I guess issues related to civil rights, so-called woke, etc., etc., etc. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy on the right. And even when it comes to abortion, I believe there is tons of hypocrisy on the right. And I do not support abortion, but at the same time, I see hypocrisy. I will call hypocrisy out when I see it, just to be point blank. I see I see what is going on today in our current political climate, and obviously I'm not going to talk about it in much in the introduction video, but just to be very upfront, I feel like I feel a strong obligation to be very, very outspoken about this. And I see the toxicity and just the hate and the emboldenment and just the growing hate in our country. And I want to be a voice against it, a powerful voice against it. And that's pretty much where I stand these days. And there's just so much going on, so much to talk about. I voted for Kamala Harris. I voted for Joe Biden. I In 2016 I voted against Hillary Clinton simply because I was afraid. It was not because I liked Donald Trump, but it was because I was afraid of Hillary Clinton. And the reason I was afraid of Hillary Clinton, terrified of her, was because of all the conspiracies about her corruption and emails and all this stuff hiding that she's hiding and stuff. And and even then, I said I thought Trump was the lesser evil. Now, these days today, I realize that so much of that is fear mongering, and I've come to realize that a lot of it is just not true. And that those on the right use that against Obama, they use that against Biden, they use that against Harris, they use that against Hillary, and they will always use that against people that they don't like, and they're going to go to the far ends of the extent of demonizing the individuals. There's people today that still have Obama derangement syndrome, who are still obsessed with Obama 8 years after he's gone, who believe that Obama's wife is a transgender and all that. We'll talk about all that in later videos. And it's just so many stuff. And by the way, I personally know that's not true. My dad went to law school with her. So this is all just lies, debunked, fake news. And it's just an epidemic today, misinformation, everything, all along the line. And it's just so much hate just growing in our country, emboldening. We literally have trillionaires running us, like a guy that's on his way to being a trillionaire, pretty much being right there with the president of the United States on equal status. And the point is, we have a lot to talk about, and I want to just keep you guys posted, up to date, stay tuned. And one of the reasons I'm starting this channel is because I'm sick of social media. I'm sick of ranting on social media about this. I'm sick of talking about this on social media, and I need to just make a change. So I'm going to be, I'm first of all, I want to give my shout outs to Tennessee Brando, to that Daniel preacher guy. He's kind of a left-wing preacher. The Tom Powell Jr., to a Blue Dot in Texas, etc., people speaking out. And I want to just give my shout out to their channels. They are great channels. And we just really, to David Pakman as well, we need to stick together. People who see what's going on in this country and see it for what it is and see through it, we need to stick together. Anyways, folks, that's all for now. This is my first video, and I'm going to have a lot more to update you guys on. This channel will be strictly for politics. If you want to follow my travel blogs and my life blogs and my, the fun stuff, follow Javier Blog 208, my other channel. I'm going to be removing politics from there, more or less, pretty much. And in this channel, you're going to be seeing interviews, politics, and even religion. And even through all this, I'm still a faithful believer in God and Christ, and that will never change. And that plays a big, big role in my views in life and in my political views in life. Thank you, folks, for watching the introduction video. My name is Javier Blog. My name is Javier, and I will see you all soon. From the great state of Florida, tuning out.